So something happened in Port Harcourt a few days ago, around the 4th of June 2025, where it was said a notable socialite by the name of Odogu Melvin was viciously attacked with a knife by his friend and business partner, a young man named CJ. Now, according to the stories, on that said day, it was said that CJ had gone to visit Melvin in his house, and somewhere along the line, CJ brings out a knife and slashes Melvin on his throat. Melvin is bleeding and shouting for his life, begging CJ not to kill him. And somewhere along the line, the neighbors hear the scream and they burst into Melvin's apartment to see Melvin lying next to the door in his pool of blood, face down. And they also see another young man lying too, covered in blood, except in the picture, Melvin is in his underwear. The other said man, CJ, believably, is in his trousers with a white shirt that is covered in blood as well. So the neighbors, seeing this chaos, they are confused. Their first thought was Melvin and this young man had been fighting. Another thought was somebody had come to attack them, but the door was locked from the inside, so maybe the person went past the back. However, in an attempt to help these two young men get the medical attention that they need, they realized that only Melvin was injured. The other man, CJ, wasn't injured, and that was when they knew that CJ was the attacker, because CJ was trying to play dead. He was trying to play a victim too. He probably wanted to get away this way, pretty much uses Melvin's blood smeared all over himself and laying on the floor. The moment he noticed that people were forcing their way into the room, he knew that if these people come in, they would arrest him. So he lays down on the floor along with Melvin to act as though he too had been attacked. The only problem was the neighbors were quick and smart enough to realize that he had no injuries. Melvin had visible injuries. They knew the blood, they knew where the blood was coming out from on Melvin. And Melvin was taken to the hospital while CJ was handed over to the police. And when CJ was being arrested, in the moment he started blurting out that the reason he did it was because Melvin made a sexual pass at him. And that was why he did what he did. However, the only problem is CJ thought Melvin was dead. CJ thought he had actually killed Melvin, so he felt that the narrative is now in his hands. All he needs to do is tell the whole world that Melvin was gay, and that would automatically make the police go, oh, Melvin was gay, alright, you're free to go. Set him free. It was a gay person he killed, so there's no need to lock him up. They just let him go to kill more gay people. Unfortunately for him, Melvin did not die. He responded to treatment and was able to relay a little bit of what may have happened. And we don't have the full story because neither Melvin or CJ had given an official statement. So this is what neighbors and people who are close to the source are saying. Now, let's go back a little bit, because the one question here is, was this as a result of Melvin making a sexual pass at him, or was this something else? I needed to understand it myself, so I asked the questions that I feel like I needed to know. Although I reached out to Melvin, no response. I tried reaching out to CJ too, but I guess that one is in prison unless they give him his phone. I still haven't gotten any response from these people directly. The most our sources are getting are from people who know the story and who are closest to the incident. And from what I could gather, Melvin and CJ had known each other as far back as last year. Melvin is a socialite who throws rave parties in Port Harcourt, and he does well financially. He does seem to be doing well. CJ, on the other hand, graduated last year from what I could get from Enugu State, and he seems to be into some luxury kind of business where he sells luxury watches, shoes, but I guess it's retail. I don't think he's like he has a shop for all of this. I think it's a business he was starting, and he's helping people who have these luxury brands, wristwatches, shoes, clothes, bags, sell and then get his commission. So when he and Melvin meet, they met, from what we understood, on a business level. Melvin wanted to invest in that business and hope to get return back. Now, that is it. That is the extent to their dynamics. That is as far as we know. Now, another detail that is supposed to help us understand this chaos is, on the day this happened, it was believed that Melvin in his house pretty much was expecting CJ. It could have been one of those business conversations where, okay, month has just ended, what's up, how much is my remittance, how much is my profit. It could have been one of those conversations. Some sources say that Melvin had asked CJ to bring a specific shoe, a specific cloth, a specific item, and CJ comes with it. And given that they are buddies and friends and besties, we are made to understand that in their conversation while in that apartment or in the room, Melvin turns around, and that was when he backs CJ. And out of nowhere, Melvin turns back around, and that was where he gets the first slash. Hold on. Somebody did claim that Melvin had asked CJ to massage his back while Melvin was facing the floor of the bed, per se. And that was when CJ was helping massaging the back. And somewhere along the line, Melvin notices that this young man is only using one hand. So he's like trying to turn around to be like, use your both hands. And that was when, as he turns around, the first slash happened. Now, we don't know which one. I don't know. This is just what people are saying. So I don't know which of the narrative. But let's put the two scenarios into perspective regardless. So when Melvin gets slashed, he starts to bleed instantly, and he is scared for his life. He rushes to the corner of the bed. He's bleeding and begging for his life, asking CJ not to kill him, because right now this is not his business partner, this is not his friend, this is not his buddy, this is not his bestie. This is about to be the last person he's to see before he dies. This is about to be his killer in a true crime story, and Melvin is begging for his life. And that was when we are made to understand that CJ asked Melvin to transfer a sum of money to his bank. In that moment, Melvin transfers the sum of money. Some said it's $1 million, some said it's $500,000. The moment CJ gets the alert, all this while Melvin is doing the transfer, he is holding on for his dear life. He is losing it. He is everywhere, there's blood everywhere. And he makes this transfer to this monster, and the moment CJ sees the alert, he smiles and continues attacking Melvin with the knife. It was at this point Melvin doubles up on his voice, screams for help, and falls to the ground. And the neighbors luckily had heard the commotion, and they quickly start forcing the door open. And takes us to the beginning when they burst in to see Melvin and the other young man, CJ, both lying down, both looking dead, until they find out that CJ is the only one without an injury. So basically, this is the story. This is all we have. This is all the narrative that is going around. CJ, upon thinking that Melvin is dead, tells everyone, the neighbors and the police, when they figured out that he was the attacker, that Melvin is gay and tried to sleep with him, and that was why he did what he did. But now we are also hearing that this was CJ avoiding paying remittance to Melvin, who has invested in his business. He did not want to continue paying Melvin, and he wanted to keep the business for himself because the business is starting to look good. We are also hearing that CJ collected money from Melvin and may have also had eyes for Melvin's gadgets, laptops, and other luxury items that Melvin has, which is now making the perspective of CJ's motive very questionable, in my opinion. My first question was, if CJ was right that this was because Melvin sexually tried to make a pass at him, at what point did he try to curb this or defend yourself? If somebody is making a pass at you that you don't like, from what we know and from what we've seen is one or two things. The young man would not go and see Melvin in his house. Number two, if the young man was going to see Melvin, he was going to set Melvin up to a point where everybody would catch Melvin in that act. Because let's face it, it's a crime. So if Melvin is making a gay pass at you, you are entitled to get the police involved, and CJ should have been the one to raise his voice and call on everybody to come and see Melvin doing what he's doing, and that would have helped his case. But CJ didn't do all of that. This is a person you've been friends with for half the year, almost a year according to some people. So at what point did the making a pass bother you to the extent you bring out the knife to kill him? Another thing again that I did wanted to know. Now, I've not confirmed, but if you have the answer, let me know. I asked some of the people who I spoke to, like, who owns the knife? The knife that CJ used to kill Melvin, the murder weapon. Where was it from? Can Melvin confirm that that knife belongs to him in his house? Is it in his kitchen? Some of the people say they don't know, but somebody who told me said that the young man brought the knife from his house to Melvin's place. And if that is the case, then it's hard to believe CJ's own motive. It's hard to believe that you were doing this in self-defense. It's hard to believe that. If you left your house with a knife, entered keke, entered bike to go to someone else's house to attack them and then take their money and try to steal from them, I don't know. It's hard to believe that you were the victim here. CJ, it's hard to believe that you were fighting off a gay man trying to force himself on you. It's hard to believe that that was why you did what you did when you brought the knife from your own house. At the same time, if the knife is indeed Melvin's own, in Melvin's house, then yeah, there is a possibility that something went down. CJ did not like it, goes to the kitchen, brings out a knife and attacks Melvin. But the moment he starts to demand money, it's now a robbery. It's now a robbery. It's just obviously clear that, yeah, CJ, we want to believe you. You want to use this same old story that we've heard multiple times, because let's face it, this is not the first time we're hearing a story like this. The only difference is half the time the victims are usually dead, so we only get to hear the narrative of the killer, and they always say, oh, he was gay, he tried to touch me, he tried to do this to me, he tried to do this, and people go with it. But luckily for us, Melvin is alive, so he has this narrative and he has his voice to tell the story. To just be their words versus their words, basically. But again, facts don't lie. If these things did happen, it makes CJ questionable. It makes CJ's motive or claims a little bit questionable. I'm not saying CJ is lying. There could be a little truth to it. I maybe feel like he wanted to weaponize something. But at the same time, it's hard to believe CJ with these things that we have mentioned. You bring out the knife from your house. You have been friends with him for so long. You've been coming to his house multiple times. If he has been making a pass at you, I don't know why you're still going to his house. I would not want to go to someone's house I know would try to physically, sexually assault me. If I know that that is what they want to do, I would not want to go there. But you've been coming to his house. You guys have been friends. You guys have been having business partnership. He has been investing in your business. You've been giving him remittance. As time goes by, it's just that now month has ended, you don't want to pay, so you're trying to make sure you don't get to pay. So all these things make CJ's storyline questionable, and it doesn't look like he's telling the truth. Now, another thing again that just makes me think that CJ might be lying is the fact that when I went through his social media, his Instagram, his Twitter, he has this notion of, he usually talks about making money, getting money by all means possible. There are tweets and posts that have suggested that CJ is trying to make it by all means possible. You could tell this young man, CJ, he's after making money by all means. That's the thing. When I sense that somebody has this mentality in their conversations, in their tweets, that they are willing to make money by all means, but by any means necessary, it's hard to believe CJ. I'm just going to leave it at that and hope maybe Melvin comes to tell the side of the story, or CJ tells the side of the story from Kirikiri, wherever way he wants to. But I do know that this is attempted murder. CJ is going to prison. I don't know. I hope Melvin pursues this, because if this young man gets out, he will most likely succeed the next time. So they should just keep him in prison. Whatever he has to say, he should say it from jail. Because what do you think would happen when you attempt to kill somebody and you fail and you start to see that, oh, the person tried to touch me? Okay, even most women who kill men in self-defense for rape, most of them still go to jail. That is one ironic thing. So it's going to be hard to believe CJ. If CJ wants to convince us that that is the case, then we need to see chats of Melvin making a pass at you. We need to see, well, I guess it's only mostly chats that we would have to see. We want to see the text message exchanging between the two of you. And if you cannot show that, then you are lying, CJ. You're not saying the truth. This is looking more like a robbery than a self-defense from an alleged homosexual trying to force himself on you. That is what it's looking like to me. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this. At the same time, if you have any extra information regarding this story, again, we are just going based off on what we've heard. We've not heard from the horse's mouth directly. So this story is bound to change. Narratives, new details are bound to come up. So if eventually they do come up, we might hear things that were not there at first. So put that in mind, and hopefully if there's an update, I will let you guys know. Stay subscribed and stay following this page. Don't forget to check our new Telegram page also.